The ring isn't big enough, the arena isn't strong enough, and quite frankly, the world of professional wrestling might not be stable enough to survive what just happened on Monday Night Raw. Welcome back to Wrestling Apocalypse. If you are watching this right now, I need you to take a deep breath, clear the room, and focus, because the road to WrestleMania 42 just turned into a highway to hell. For months, we have speculated, we have debated, and we have lived in the tension of the two most magnetic, polarizing, and dangerous forces in the industry finally sharing the same oxygen. On one side, the world heavyweight champion, the best in the world, CM Punk. On the other, the 2026 Royal Rumble winner, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Tonight, the talking stopped. Tonight, the best in the world met the God mode of the modern era, and the resulting explosion didn't just break the script, it broke the building. We are talking about a massive, unsanctioned, and utterly visceral brawl that saw the entire locker room emptied, security guards sent to the trauma ward, and the main event of WrestleMania 42 transformed from a match into a war of attrition. The atmosphere in the building tonight was thick with a static electricity you could practically taste. From the moment the show went on the air, there was a feeling that the production team was on high alert. No one was backstage laughing, no one was doing yeet dances in the hallway. There was a grim, focused energy radiating from the gorilla position. CM Punk opened the show, and he didn't come out with his usual smirk. He didn't sit cross-legged and drop a pipe bomb. He stood in the center of the ring, the World Heavyweight Championship draped over his shoulder like a burden, and he just looked at the entrance ramp. He told the crowd that for 10 years, he was told he was the voice of the voiceless, but tonight, he was the voice of a man who was tired of the island of relevancy polluting his show. He called Roman Reigns a manufactured god and challenged him to come out and face a man who was self-made in the gutters of Chicago. And then, the silence hit. That heavy, pressurized silence that only happens when the tribal chief is in the building. There was no music at first. Just the slow, rhythmic thump of footsteps echoing through the sound system. When Roman Reigns finally emerged, he didn't have Paul Heyman. He didn't have Solo Sikoa or the Usos. He was alone. He walked down that ramp with a level of cold, calculated arrogance that makes your blood run cold. He didn't get in the ring immediately. He circled it like a shark circling a life raft. When he finally stepped over the top rope, the visual was cinematic perfection, the voice of the voiceless standing chest to chest with the head of the table. The air in the arena was so thin you could hear a pin drop, until Roman leaned into the mic and whispered just 5 words, "I'm going to end you." That was the spark that set the forest on fire. Punk didn't wait for the bell. He didn't wait for a referee. He slapped the microphone out of Roman's hand and connected with a stiff, spinning backfist that sent the tribal chief reeling into the corner. The roar from the crowd was a primal, ear-splitting sound of pure adrenaline. This wasn't a wrestling match. This was a fight between two men who genuinely seemed to despise the very idea of the other's existence. Roman charged back with a clothesline that nearly took Punk's head off, and within seconds, they were tumbling through the ropes and into the timekeeper's area. The energy in the building was a mix of total euphoria and genuine fear. Michael Cole was screaming on commentary, his voice cracking as he called for help, while Wade Barrett sat in stunned silence, watching the two icons dismantle the ringside environment. Roman grabbed a steel chair and drove it into Punk's ribs, a sickening crack echoing through the rafters. But Punk, fueled by a decade of resentment, didn't stay down. He tackled Roman through the barricade, sending both men crashing into the front row of the audience. Fans were scattering, security was diving into the wreckage, and the main event of WrestleMania was happening right there in Section 102. Backstage, our sources at Wrestling Apocalypse are telling us the fallout was instantaneous and panicked. We saw footage of Adam Pearce frantically trying to coordinate the locker room. It took nearly 30 superstars, men like Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and even the young lions from NXT to storm the arena floor just to separate them. But even then, it wasn't enough. Roman was tossing security guards aside like they were made of paper. Punk was biting, clawing, and fighting with the desperation of a man who knows this is his last chance at immortality. We heard reports that Triple H himself had to leave the production truck to get a handle on the situation, his face a mask of pure frustration. The fan perspective on social media tonight is a total explosion. Within 10 minutes, #Punk vs Reigns was the #1 trending topic on the planet. People are dissecting every frame of the brawl. They're pointing out the look in Roman's eyes, a look of genuine shock that someone would dare to lay hands on him with such disrespect. They're analyzing Punk's intensity, noting that the best in the world hasn't looked this dangerous or this motivated since 2011. The Wrestling Apocalypse community has been waiting for this collision for years, but the sheer unscripted feel of tonight's violence has shifted the narrative. This isn't about the world heavyweight title anymore. This is about who truly owns the soul of the industry in 2026. Think about the cinematic consequences here. We are on the road to WrestleMania 42, and the two biggest stars in the company are currently uncontrollable assets. If they can't even stand in the same ring for a promo without a riot breaking out, how are they going to make it to the stadium? The stakes have been elevated to a level of must-watch television that we haven't seen in a generation. Roman Reigns is the apex predator who hasn't been truly challenged in years. CM Punk is the anarchist who thrives in the chaos. Tonight, the Predator found out that the anarchist has teeth. The most chilling moment of the night, however, happened when the Brawl finally moved back onto the ramp. Roman had Punk in a guillotine choke, his face turning a deep, bruised purple. Security was pulling at Roman's arms, but he wouldn't let go. He was looking directly into the camera, his eyes glazed over with a predatory trance, as if he was trying to choke the life out of the entire Best in the World legacy. It took Adam Pearce personally threatening Roman with a WrestleMania suspension to get him to release the hold. When Roman finally let go, he didn't walk away. He stood over Punk's gasping body, smoothed his hair back, and said, "WrestleMania is my house. You're just the squatter I'm finally evicting." As the cameras cut to black, the arena was a disaster zone. Broken chairs, a shattered barricade, and a locker room full of superstars who looked like they had just witnessed a car crash. This is why we watch. Not for the clean finishes or the polished promos, but for the moments where the world of wrestling feels dangerously real. CM Punk and Roman Reigns have officially crossed the point of no return. There is no more talking. There is no more hype. There is only the inevitable collision at WrestleMania 42, and after tonight, it's clear that only one of them is going to walk out of that stadium on their own 2 feet. We're going to be tracking the medical reports on both men 24/7. We've heard whispers that Punk may have suffered a cracked rib during the barricade spot, and Roman's eye was visibly swelling as he left the building. We are reaching out to our contacts in the back to see if any disciplinary action is being taken, but let's be honest, you can't discipline a hurricane. This is the apocalypse we've been waiting for. The voice versus the chief, the best versus the greatest. I want to hear from you, because the wrestling apocalypse community is the smartest and most passionate in the world. Who won the Brawl tonight? Did Roman's power win out, or did Punk's grit prove he can hang with the tribal chief? And most importantly, who are you backing at WrestleMania? Is it the World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk, or is the Royal Rumble winner Roman Reigns destined to reclaim the throne? Get down in those comments right now and let your voice be heard. I'm reading every single theory, from the Shield reunion pipe dreams to the Bloodline interference predictions. If you're as hyped as we are by this absolute madness, hit that like button to show your support for the channel. It helps us keep the lights on while we hunt for the truth in the shadows of the WWE. Smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a beat as we head toward the most explosive WrestleMania in history. The Brawl is over for now, the war is just beginning, and the apocalypse is officially scheduled for April. I've been your host for Wrestling Apocalypse. Watch your back, stay loud, and we'll see you at the next bell. The ring isn't big enough, the arena isn't strong enough, and quite frankly, the world of professional wrestling might not be stable enough to survive what just happened on Monday Night Raw. Welcome back to Wrestling Apocalypse. If you are watching this right now, I need you to take a deep breath, clear the room, and focus, because the road to WrestleMania 42 just turned into a highway to hell. For months, we have speculated, we have debated, and we have lived in the tension of the two most magnetic, polarizing, and dangerous forces in the industry finally sharing the same oxygen. On one side, the World Heavyweight Champion, the best in the world, CM Punk. On the other, the 2026 Royal Rumble winner, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Tonight, the talking stopped. Tonight, the best in the world met the God mode of the modern era, and the resulting explosion didn't just break the script, it broke the building. We are talking about a massive, unsanctioned, and utterly visceral brawl that saw the entire locker room emptied, security guards